But I want to just say welcome. I'm looking forward to being your district governor during your year. Hoping to get us prepared for that. And I know we're a little bit early starting out for what would be considered a PE, but I thought if we did these in small pieces, it would be better than doing a long 5-hour session where you go away with a brain drain. It also gives you the opportunity to get in, take a look at some stuff, and if you have questions, then you can get a hold of us. So what I want to do first is go ahead and introduce myself again. My name's Dave Jones. I've lived in the Stowe area since 2014. Been in Ohio since 1996. My dad was military, so I am a military brat. I've lived all over the world. Japan, Spain, England, Germany. I've lived in all those locations 3 years minimum. I have been to Holland because my mother's first generation in this country. So I spent a lot of summers in Amsterdam during the 70s, 60s and 70s. And then I've also been to France, Germany, and Belgium. So I've been a bit of a world traveler, especially on that east side, because once you're living in that area, I lived in England for 3 years. So going from England to across the channel isn't a big step. So it's easy to visit that area within Europe. I've lived in a lot of different states here in Ohio is one of them. I've lived in New Mexico and was born in New Mexico, Washington State, Nevada, and a little bit of time in New York on Long Island. I was there about 8 months with my family as well. So bit of a traveler. I've also been to China and lived in Japan. So like I said, I tried to get around when I can, and I'm looking forward to possibly getting down to Australia this 2 years from now for Rotary International Conference, if we're still going to have it. And hopefully by then, all of this will be over. Because our zone was supposed to be in a week in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and they canceled that because of the increase in COVID cases down in that region. So for safety reasons, they've gone ahead and canceled that. So my time in Rotary, I joined Rotary in 2013. So short time Rotarian, I guess, if you want to consider a lot of the other people that I know that have been long-term members, well over 15, 20, 30 years. In my club, we have a Rotarian that is an original club member, and our club was established in 1962. And he was a charter member at that time, and he's still a member, an active member within our club currently. So what attracted me to Rotary? Well, being a military brat, everything that Rotary stands for is really what my dad raised me to be. Helping others, living in different countries, you get to understand the difference in society and cultures and what that means, living the 4-way test. And that's something that was always instilled in me with regard to my community, as well as those around me. So I look forward to the different projects we do and the different camaraderie that we have with networking and just being a part of an organization that puts our world in the forefront and doing good in the world. And I really do believe in that doing good in the world. I don't just say that one because living in different parts of the world, I've seen poverty, I've seen despair, I've seen a lot of different ways that people live, and any way that we can do a little bit of good. Larry does a lot of water projects, and a lot of the other clubs around here do water projects. That really has a significant impact, not only on their daily life, but on their health. So now I think that's extremely important. So that's a little bit about myself and my background. We're going to take a look at a little bit of introductions here. As a DG chain, Larry Lohman is on the call today. He's our current district governor. I don't know if anybody's met with him. Ryan, you want to throw that up so everybody gets to see Julie? Do you have the PowerPoint real quick?
Am I not sharing my screen?
Not at the present time, no, sir.
Okay, I thought I was.
There we go. So our past district governor, who is currently still working with us, is Pat Myers. Many of you may or may not know her. She just came off of probably one of the most challenging years as a district governor, as being all online and having to deal with COVID throughout this last year. Larry is our current district governor, and thank you, Larry, for being on this evening. And then Julie Brandel was not able to be on tonight. She had a board meeting with her business, and then she was going from that to another meeting. So she was not able to be on this evening. But these are our governor line, and you may be familiar with them or not, but you will see them around as we go through our next year. Okay. Membership chair, Peter Tuttle, is on tonight, and we're going to hear from him for a little bit here in a bit. Peter has been doing a lot with our membership and been instrumental in trying to increase our membership, even in a time when a lot of our members are dropping because of being in a Zoom format. We're going to hear from Jim Lechko in our next meeting. Our next meeting's focus will be on foundation, and Jim is our foundation chair, and we'll have him on in our next meeting in November. And then our public image chair will be talking in January with the public image. We're going to talk a little bit about how we structured some of that, and we'll have Maureen Garnett on during that period, so you'll get to know her and how she can help your clubs with public image. So those are our three main focuses here over the next couple of meetings that we have. And just trying to get you familiar with some of those aspects. I don't know if your club is having issues with membership and public image, but I know our club is, and we have been pushing to increase our membership as well as get our name out. As Rotarians, we typically are humble. We don't necessarily pull our own chain and toot our own horn, but we really need to be able to do that and show the public what we as Rotarians are doing in our community. AGs, assistant governors, you may or may not have had the opportunity to meet with your assistant governor before now. Hopefully you've had a little bit of time to maybe get in with your clusters. Your assistant governor is over your cluster, and we have them listed here. Shale and Julie are both on this evening. Julie has the Cuyahoga County Northeast, and Shale is doing Summit County South. Did I see another AG on? No, I think those are the only two AGs. And then Jackie Minotis is also on, and she does a lot with our district committees and is very active with our district. So Jackie, thank you for being on as well. If you don't know what cluster you're in, try to get a hold of your AG, maybe introduce yourself, try to get into a cluster meeting. Most districts or most clusters have at least 4 meetings a year, and hopefully you can get or start getting involved with that with your current president. I'm in the North Summit cluster, and our cluster meets once a month in some form or another, and we encourage our presidents and our president-elects to attend that cluster meeting. So we do a lot as a cluster in terms of grants and different projects that we do in our area. Thank you. Let's take a look at the district website. I sent this out to everybody. Hopefully you had an opportunity to try to log in. Has everybody been on our district website, District 6630's website? You are going to have quite a bit to do once you become a president-elect. It is a good time to maybe get onto our website, get yourself registered. When you became a member, you had to provide your email address. And that email address is how you will sign in and create an account. So this little flyer that I've given you in the top right-hand corner of the website, you'll just click on the member login. Once you go in there, you want to click on new member. And then as the new member, you're going to select your club, you're going to put your email address and then your last name, and that will allow you into the system. And then you'll be able to set up a password. Okay. So do take the time to maybe get into there, see what the website's all about, how you can get some information and what information is available there. One of the pages that we do encourage you to look at is our PE page. Our President-elect's page does break down what is going on in our district. On the left-hand side, you'll find the club events, as well as, thank you, Ryan. So on the left-hand side, you'll find the club events as well as tools that are available to you. And I would encourage you to take a look at those different tools. I thought about sending the PDFs out to you with regard to this, but filling up your email is probably not the best way to do it. I'd rather show you where the tools are and then allow you to go to there and access those tools. So on the left-hand side, you'll definitely find a membership planning worksheet, how to lead your club flyer. There's a flyer there that has some breakdown information to it. How to check your Rotary Club's health. Are you a healthy club or are you not? So different things to do. And your current president may have done some of those activities with your current club. If they did not, that can give you an insight into what's going on and how your club members feel and concerns that they may have. So I encourage you to take a look at the PE website. The next website that I encourage you to try and log into is the Rotary International's website. Hopefully you've gone to rotary.org. In the top right-hand corner there where Brian's pointing, you'll see a join button. And if you click that join button, the flyer I gave you for Rotary International can lead you through that. One of the important parts in Rotary International that is very helpful, oh, he's got to relog in. Make that visible. Let me see that password, Ryan.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this takes a little bit of time to come up. The Learning Center actually has different modules. So given COVID, they've actually built these training sessions. And I would encourage you to go ahead and take a look at your club leadership. It's right there in the middle. Club leadership has some different courses that you can take a look at that kind of leads through how to be a club leader, how to be a PE or a president. And then of course, there are things on membership, foundation. There's a lot to do there, and we will do a little bit of a discussion on this in a future date, but it doesn't hurt to take a quick look at it and just pull it up. I know right now that in the middle there, you'll see Club President Basics. And that basically is a course. So it has many of the other modules built into it. They just put it all in one location. So you should see the membership module here. You should see the leading your club here. The administration of your club is there as well. And just a good information that you can work through a little bit at a time to try and figure out how you might want to lead your club and what you might want to do for yourself in that club.
And as you're building your leadership team, this is also something you're going to want to encourage your membership chair, your service chair, others to take courses also, because this is one of the ways that we can share knowledge and grow. And as far as plan a course of action for your year. But there's a lot of courses in the Learning Center that, as David mentioned, we're going to talk about in the future. But this is a good way just to kind of, dab a little bit as you're getting ready and think about the things that are important to you that you want to do with your club.
So if you have any issues logging in or if you need some help, you've got my contact information. I would be happy to help you with that. Cheryl Warren would be another person on how to get into it. Here's the Rotary International website and the flyer that I built for you on that one, where you just log in and what you're going to be required to put in. It's really easy, but once again, you're going to use the email address that you used when you joined Rotary. If that was your work email address before and it's changed and that you do not have access to that anymore, please give me a call and we can help reset that. Because the first thing it does is when you put in your email address, it's going to send you a verification email and you have to be able to access it. And I know some people have changed jobs where it's not the same as when they first joined Rotary. And if you need help making that modification, you can either get a hold of myself or Cheryl Warren, and our information is down in the bottom of both of those sheets in the yellow box. Any questions on that at all? Ryan?
Yeah. So as far as one of the things, just to make sure you're aware, as you're getting ready to lead your club, and this will certainly pertain to you more when you're club president. And I know as far as a lot of the current club presidents have already heard these messages, but some of the focus that is we're looking at this year and going forward is on our youth in a number of ways. But as far as our youth are our future, so in other words, how can we get more people involved, whether that's Rotaract, whether that's Interact, the four-way test speech contest. But those are prospective members that we're helping share the good word of what Rotary is doing. So I know Larry is basically working with others to basically build a committee to create a database of youth alumni so that we can basically harvest those individuals and kind of help get them involved. But that's one of the things as far as just to be mindful of as far as you're getting ready for your year. Another one is youth safety. So this is also very pertinent. I know a lot of club presidents have heard about this. You might have been hearing about this at club board meetings, other events, but the district has adopted a youth safety policy and is working towards as far as getting up to speed so that we are preparing those individuals and members who have continued contact to be in a good place as far as training wise. So there was a session on August 18th. Our next session is this coming Saturday on September 18th. We're asking all clubs who participate in youth programs, so Interact, Rotaract, four-way test speech contests, RILA, if you have a special youth program for your club, Project Yes, or other things, we're asking for you to have at least 2 members, and hopefully your club has a youth safety officer or even a committee. So this is one of the things as you build your leadership team. This is new for a lot of clubs, but this is an important addition, someone that's going to focus and make sure the club is in good standing in order to be able to participate in youth programs in the future. So they're rolling out the policy and starting that education process, and will continue to build. But that's another thing to be aware of as you're kind of growing in your knowledge and getting ready for your year to be the club liaison. So Peter, I know as far as we're going to have you talk a little bit about the district membership and some of the things that are taking place. I know we're gonna talk about the multi-district pets here next week, but if you'd like to talk a little bit about what your committee's doing.
Sure. Well, as far as the president-elects go, we're very excited to be very much involved in the PETS training, and we're going to be seeing you in the fall and spending quite a bit of time with you. As the president, there's not a more important position in the club to membership than the president role. It's pretty easy to ascertain when you see a successful club in membership. You can usually look right to the president and you'll see a leader that's focused on membership. And each of those typically have a strong membership chair. So in building your team, it's not too early to begin thinking about who is your membership chair and developing a relationship with them right now. And if you don't have a membership chair, or you're not sure who your membership chair will be, you want to be looking, because it's a very important role to your club. And the role of the membership committee is really to support the clubs in achieving their goals, and how can we help you achieve theirs. And we have very large clubs, and we have very small clubs, and we have clubs all the way in between, and your needs are quite different. So it's a matter of developing relationships with each individual club and helping to support what your goals and objectives are and your specific needs are. So we're looking forward to getting to know you. Our committee is trying 24 members strong, and we have tremendous people on the committee that are more than willing to work with you and help you achieve your goals. So you'll have an exciting year. It'll go fast. This is the time to put the building blocks in place and get prepared. So congratulations on your new role, and anything that we can do to help you. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. We're always willing to chime in. So thank you for having us here tonight.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
As Ryan mentioned, go back real quick, Ryan. As Ryan mentioned, next week we do have our multi-district presentation on membership. That is all 5 districts in the state of Ohio are getting together, and we've asked some Rotary International presenters to come on and have conversation with us. Again, that'll be just a short minute or hour and 15-minute session, just to give you a quick overview of membership, some of the things that you might think about doing in terms of raising your membership. And we're planning a good session for that. So that gives you the opportunity to also find out what other districts in our area are doing here in the state of Ohio. So if you haven't registered for that yet, I will send out another registration reminder later in the week, but we would definitely like to have you on there if you are available.
So in addition to membership, one of the core focuses of Rotary, another is the foundation. So in other words, how are we raising money and awareness of some of the projects that we do? I know a lot of clubs participate in district grants, and there's certainly a process to that to support clubs, but that is your money that you donate coming back to enable that. So I know as far as Jim Letchko, our district foundation chair, wasn't able to make it tonight, but we wanted to at least highlight that. And there is a multi-district pets in November that will focus more on that. That is November 17th, all on Wednesdays. But another date is the foundation gala, and that is scheduled right now for November 11th. I believe tentatively looking at Windows on the River. I also believe that tentatively Larry's going to try and win the ugly sweater contest this year, a tall task with Rich Cole, a member of our district. But, it's something to have a little bit of fun and also raise some awareness of what we're doing, and also some funds for those things. But that's another couple opportunities just to be mindful of it and to raise awareness within your clubs and your members.
Larry, you want to say something?
Yeah, actually, with the foundation gala and the sweater contest specifically, I am not trying to win it myself. Actually, I am encouraging other Rotarians to beat Rich Cole. And Rich and I had a nice talk about this this morning, and he's all happy that somebody's going to give him a run for his money this year. I have put out a bounty on Rich's head to say a little bit. The winner of the ugly sweater contest will get 2 free registrations to the district conference on April 22nd and 23rd. So there is a little bit of incentive to beat Rich this year. So thank you.
No, Ryan, district leadership and members are not eligible. So your tutu will not work this year. So public image is the third main focus that we have been focusing in with regard to our district. Another big opportunity within the 3 that we have here. How do we get our name out? How do we get our clubs doing good out into the community, where when you ask somebody, do you know Rotary? And they go, I have no clue what that means. Or yes, I do. How can we get everybody out there that when you say you're in Rotary, they say, I know what that is, not what's Rotary? How can we get our good name out there in all the projects that we do? Well, we have a public image team out there. They're working with our district website. They can help you write articles. They can help you get any events that you are doing within your club posted and into a newspaper to help you either format that or where to send it. My club recently had an event that we participated in, and the gentleman that was doing it didn't know that the Public Image Committee was out there. Even though I'm in the club and even though I'm a district governor line, he didn't even think about asking me. So that's the other thing. How can we get our own Rotarians to know who might they contact with regard to getting their good work out to the public? So back in February, we're going to focus on public image. That's just before we go to All Ohio Pets, where you will be inducted to become president at that time through the All Ohio Pets process. But we're going to look at public image at that time, and hopefully we'll have a couple of different individuals on there, and we'll have, I know for us, we will have them on there for our meeting so that you'll get to meet her and she can talk about what she can do for your clubs. Okay. So I know I've sent this out a couple of times. Today is the 15th. Our next session that you and I will be on will be December 1st, and that's where we'll look at pets. I'm sorry, that's when we'll look at the foundation. And Jim Lechko will be on at that time to talk about district grants. Many of your clubs currently participate in our district grants because you use those funds to help do your projects. Our district grants committee has put out anywhere between 10 and 20 grants each year that they fund. The grants can be anywhere as small as $500 and as currently as large as $3,000. Now, those are matching funds. So whatever your process is, we will match up to $3,000 for your grant. If your grant's $10,000, we still only match $3,000. If your grant's $6,000, then of course we match that $3,000 from us and $3,000 from you. Anything less than that is an equal split, 50-50. Okay. The All Ohio, or we call it All Ohio District or multi-district pets, are also those dates on September 22nd, which is next week. Membership, foundation, and public image. So we'll just letting you know up front where events you are.
And we're going to send out this PowerPoint to everybody, so you'll have these written details also.
Sure. Now we are going to do in person. Hopefully, right now we don't have a set location. Part of our issue is if we're going to be doing it on January 29th. Where can we do it and still be in a good place for everybody so that it's equal travel? Part of that is whether or not they'll allow us to have a session there. We try to do it where we're not having to pay for the location. That's the difficult part. If we do it at a hotel, that's fine, but they usually want to charge us quite a bit. But we do have a couple of different locations that we do have these at. The other part is that it's being in January, whether weather is good or not. So give us at least this month to get a good solid location, and then we'll let you know a little bit more about that. And that session will be from 9 to 1. We will provide lunch. That's also a location where we can get together, see each other face to face, and then do some talking about what's going on in our clubs, as well as bring in some of the other training that we still need to cover. Okay. If you haven't or didn't know yet, during our year, you will have the first Rotary International president, female, Jennifer Jones. I'm teasing her because I was on a meeting with her for a while and she said I looked like her brother-in-law. So I sent an email to her not too long ago and said, we need your help. Can you be at our All Ohio Pets? And we're working on that. But I put, hey, from your extended brother-in-law, are you available for our All Ohio Pets? So hopefully we're going to have her speaking at our session in February for All Ohio Pets. So keep our fingers crossed on that. And that's going to be Friday and Saturday, March 11th and 12th, down in Columbus. We make a big event of it. Saturday night, we get to dress up and have our formal swearing in, and hopefully Jennifer Jones will be there for that, or If she's not able to be there in person, at least virtual, because she's out of Canada. And depending on travel at that time, we'll see what's available. Thank you, Ryan.
All right. So at this point, you have 9+ months to get ready for your year as club president. And some of you have already been getting ready. If you're already in place as president-elect, your club likely has a good structure where it identifies individuals years in advance. That doesn't necessarily apply to every club. Everyone's got different experience. Some of you have been Rotarians for a long amount of time. Some have been for a shorter amount of time. But really, this is your opportunity. And I know some have served as club presidents in the past, but this is your opportunity to represent and lead your club for the 2022-2023 Rotary Club year. So as you begin to prepare, and some of you have started working on this, what are you looking to accomplish? How do you know what's important? So I would say, as far as one of the first pieces, is to evaluate your club. And you can do that a number of ways. The Rotary Club Health Check is a phenomenal tool to really take a look at your club. There are other tools like membership surveys that can help guide you as far as what's important. I would start with your members, and whether that is doing a survey of your membership or meeting one-to-one, whether that's over coffee or a phone call right now, but talking about what's important to them as you start to gauge what's the path that you want to chart, and in doing so in continuity with the current club president or people that might come along after you. But start with evaluating your club as far as what's going well, what's a challenge, what can you do better, how can we grow Rotary through membership, through public image, through service. These are all important aspects, but start to think about that and use the tools at your disposal to do so. And part of those tools is obviously us. So you have a current club president. You have, for the most part, an assistant governor. You have a district governor chain. You have someone like the district trainer in the lead committee. You have other Rotarians who want to see you succeed, because when you succeed as club president, we're all succeeding. We're growing. We're moving forward. Beyond evaluating your club is starting to take a look at your leadership team. And some of you, this is already set and in place. Others, you have to identify those individuals. So whether it's replacing the club secretary or the membership chair for that matter, this is part of the work that you need to be doing over the next several months. I know from my club, for example, usually by December, the slate of next year's leadership team has to be voted on and approved. Every club's different. Follow your bylaws, but this is one of those things as far as that you need to be looking at. And I would also argue as far as why you want some people that you get along with and it's easier to do work with. It's also good to have some devil's advocates. In other words, people who represent your club, but also are going to be the pulse and help your club grow forward. So by show of hands, how many of you already have most of your leadership team in place for 2022, 2023?
See a couple, some
So a few.
maybe.
So obviously this is something as far as to be mindful as far as how you're going to approach those individuals and whether or not you're going to get a yes with every person. I can tell you it's not always that easy, but as far as other people who are backups and getting them involved, and this is also a way for them to take a role in the club.
Jennifer,
This
this
is-
is a question? No, thanks.
But this is one of those things that we know that you're going to need to focus on in addition to evaluating your club, but is building a leadership team and then starting to chart your path. In other words, setting achievable goals that you can hit or continue to grow towards throughout the years. So one of the things that we want to address, does anybody have any questions about that?
I know some clubs have set terms for their individuals, like the treasurer might be a 2 or 3 year treasurer, and then you reevaluate. So what positions are going to be up? Do you turn over every position every year, same as you do as your president? Typically, the membership chair or your treasurer foundation person may not be a year-to-year position. It may be every 2 to 3 years. So just know what yours are, and hopefully you're involved in your club's board and you're involved in those conversations by now, just so you know what's going on there. So,
And as you build your leadership team, are there any individuals who maybe it's time to ask someone else to step forward, but also to take a step back? You know, are there individuals that maybe are halting some of the progress of the club? These are things that you should be considering and at least thinking about overall. And if nothing else, getting on the same page with those individuals, talking about what their goals are so that you're working together moving forward.
I'm glad Ryan and Peter talked about goals, because one of the things you will have to do is put in your goals to Rotary International. How many members do you think you will have, or how many can you grow? Foundation goals. In order to get a district grant, you will have to have a foundation goal. And how much do you plan, or do you think your club will donate to the foundation? Because that comes back to us. That's where our money comes from, the grants. What we give you came from those donations. And we can talk a little bit more about that in the future. But you should have certain goals that are available there. And if you're working through that, becoming a club president folder, it does list some of those goals. And it would be good to just sort of print that out and maybe write down those goals, so that when that time comes, we can help you out on the website, get them in so that you know where they are. I'm happy to have a session just on that as well, in terms of what has happened in the past, so you can see history as well. Okay.
So I'm not going to post the slide up here, David, but this will be a part of the PowerPoint that everybody sees. Another question, and I guess we're looking for feedback. You can either, as far as raise your hand, unmute, you can post in the chat. We're still in the pandemic, unfortunately. It's still going on. What are other challenges that you and your club are facing, or that you're anticipating? You have 20 plus people here, people who want to help you succeed. What are some of those challenges that you're encountering right now or anticipating?
How many of you are in hybrid situations where you have some meeting and some still on Zoom? Okay. Is there anybody that's just all 100% meeting face to face? Few. I know some clubs went that way instead of doing hybrids. Is there anybody having difficulty with having the location where they meet be available at your time?
Yes.
Because I know 3 clubs, my person and mine is one of them, that had to find a new location because where we were meeting are not meeting at lunch because of COVID. They don't open for lunch. They only do takeout. I also know another club that totally lost their meeting place totally, because another group came in and they didn't answer them quick enough, so they had to go find a whole new place. So they're challenged that way. Are you seeing any of those challenges for yourselves? Catherine, you're muted.
Muted. I'll throw out a little different challenge. I'm the president-elect of the E-Club. And one of the challenges that we're facing is that before the pandemic, there were a number of people in our district when we first started that were like, what do you mean you're going to be an E-Club? You can't have a Rotary Club on Zoom. And now that everybody has a Rotary Club on Zoom, trying to distinguish ourselves and be clear in our minds about how we are different from the rest of you who are either meeting electronically or in a hybrid model is challenging for us. And we haven't figured out how to do that in an interesting and effective way yet, which is the opposite of the problem that a lot of the rest of you are having.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
So I can see a few in the chat that said they aren't having any problems meeting face to face, and they do an option, a hybrid option, and they do get some people on sometimes. My club always sets it up for the hybrid option, and every now and then we'll get somebody on, but usually it's one or two people, not as many as we had before. I think it's still important for us, and my club was like, why do we keep doing it? And I told them they need to have the hybrid option on just in case somebody does happen to try and pop in. Nice thing is that we have individuals that can't come at noon. At least that gives them their option to get on for an hour. I know for a while I was working, and I couldn't get away from 12 to 1:30 to be there face to face. But it gave me an opportunity to get on my phone, be on for half an hour, 45 minutes with the club, hear the speaker, and at least participate. So that's a good thing with the hybrid option. Jackie, do you have a question or? Nope, thanks.
Who has grown membership during COVID? All
In the
right.
house. Slowly, we seem to have a consistent amount for breakfast and consistent amount. And our restaurant where we meet is still serving breakfast, so we're good there.
That's good.
So I saw several hands who have grown membership. How have you done it?
We've added at least 2 new members. One is the son-in-law of a member. The other is somebody that was acquainted with our group. Oh, they came from another group and moved into the area and found us and joined in. We meet in a restaurant that's not open for breakfast, but they open for us because they're busy preparing for lunch anyway. So we get a meeting room and pretty much the restaurant to ourselves.
Ours was opening for lunch because they still do a takeout service. So they were allowing us to use the space, but they couldn't find anybody to work. They stopped doing lunch and we're only doing the kitchen. So Lisa, you said you went up 5 members. How did you guys go up 5?
Well, we gained 5 members and we lost a few members, so it's a bit of a wash, but the 5 members we gained, we just, I guess, invited the right people to our meetings. I don't think there's like a magic formula to it. I think, just being intuitive about who might be interested in a good club member. We've got since the beginning 5 new members. I wish I could say, scientifically how. I guess it's more of an art than a science.
Inviting members is always a positive, and that's one of the things that they don't have to be a member that you're focusing on, but if you can invite the people to be their guest. We always did our student of the month, and we invite the parents to be there when we do our student of the month. And from doing that, we picked up 2 members because they didn't know what Rotary was about, but then they came and they heard about what we do. And the day we had that, we had a presenter from India who came on like at 6 o'clock in the morning, his time, in order to be in our meeting. And he spoke at our meeting and he thought that was a kind of a cool thing because we did that as a hybrid. And it's nice having Zoom that you can have people from other locations to be a speaker that aren't necessarily in your local community. So thank you.
It's always exciting to see as far as the growth in membership, because I know that's a challenge for a lot of clubs, even not during a pandemic. How do we continue to engage our communities and get more involved? I want to be respectful of everyone's time because we said we'd be available from 6 to 7. Just real quickly, any successful fundraisers that clubs are facilitating right now, things that have gone well for your club that you'd like to highlight and maybe others might like to hear about? Jennifer?
Yes, with the Rotary Club of Cleveland with Julie Breward. We just had our event called gathering for the greater good. I don't think I'm saying that right, Julie. Gaining for the greater good. There's 3 G's in the title. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, we had this wonderful event at one of our fellow Rotarian has this beautiful house with it's got 60 acres and a lake, and we do this event every other year as a fundraiser for our club. And there's a tent with tables, and we have celebrity chefs that come and put together different food pairings that we go up to and get as many as we want. It's $150 a ticket, and we have that includes your drinks and your food, and we have a silent auction and we have a live auction, and our members are motivated to go and get auction items, and we do a liquor pool, and there is just a lot of money raised. I believe we raised around 60 or 70,000. Is that right, Julie?
I don't think it was, I was thinking like 35 or 40, something like that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's way off.
Yeah.
But it was still a good amount. It was
Yeah,
really
it's still a lot.
How many
Yeah.
members does your club have, just for reference?
what are we at? Like 110, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun event.
Yeah. I did a presentation at the district assembly in May, I think, about fundraising. And it was amazing, all the different things that member clubs were doing this past year, a lot of them virtual fundraisers. And people said it was less work and they raised more money than they had ever done in the past. And if people want information about that, I had some handouts, and you can just text me or put a note in the thing and I can shoot you some information about what various people were doing. I think there's, some people really want to get out now and have something live, but there's a lot to be said for doing virtual for a lot of people that still are uncomfortable coming out and doing a live event.
Julie, would you mind adding yours to the Zoom or chat so that individuals?
Oh, sure. I'll put in my email.
I want to go ahead and mention a couple of them that are there because some folks have added to the chat. Jennifer talks about their membership and their president and board being very active in gaining members. They've gained over 8 members over the past year, and of course they've lost some as well. Ashley, you want to go ahead and mention what you put in the comment? Okay, we'll come back to Ashley. Kevin, you have a comment?
Yes, this is Ashley Gay from Strongsville Rotary. We just had our Kids Fest, and
We're losing your computer audio a little bit here, Ashley, about your duck race.
She mentions that they just had a duck race. The kids.
oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, we had a duck race, and we sell rubber swan gifts at the end, and the grand prize is $1,000, and it steps from there. But it's one of the most successful years that we've had, and we're not sure if that's because we did it at a different date. Normally it's in June, and this time it was in the fall, or people were just excited to be out. But our sponsorships were the best this year that they've ever been. And basket where we sold tickets to win raffle tickets as well as a cash prize, and that was a very successful fund. That was the first time we had done a virtual raffle basket type thing, and it was very successful. We'll be doing that again this year.
Ashley, how much did your club raise roughly?
That is a great question. I believe raised that just off, and I want to say that was probably $15,000 after the event was all said and done. But I just few weeks, so I don't know that that number is finalized. And then the other event, I believe raised $1,000, and it really was minimal effort as far as doing the basket raffle. But typically we do that. That event usually raises about $40,000. And then the Chili Open we do in February, and we just decided not to do that in person for 2022. And that event usually raises about the same, I would say, you know, anywhere between $50,000 and $70,000. So unfortunately, our two biggest fundraisers didn't happen this year and are not going to happen.
Gotcha. All right, real quickly, Kevin, I know you posted a little bit and you've had your hand raised. Tell us about the Wine and Roses.
Sure, I'd be happy to. You know, we've done at Medina Sunrise, the Wine and Roses. It's a gala at Weymouth Country Club for about 20 years, and everybody looks forward to it. The ladies get dressed up. We typically earn a lot of money with an auction, a live auction that we have there, get a lot of donations that way, and get a fair number of sponsorships. And this year we did it completely remotely. We built a whole website where we did an online auction and bid process. And I think we made about $15,000 off of that. And where we typically make minimal margin on the meals, because we charge $100 for the tickets and the country club charges us $80. We continued to charge $100, and we worked with 4 different restaurants and let people kind of pick the restaurant that they wanted to get entrees from. And as you know, all the restaurants all had their carryout services really fine-tuned. And we still paid them, but we paid them $50 for dinner for 2, and it included a bottle of wine. And so, you know, we were making about $70 per meal. So we really bumped up the margin on the meal. And we still kind of had our regular sponsors that still stepped up, but then we had a Zoom event where we kind of finalized the auction and tried to have a little fun and competition to get people to bid up the prices. And we ended up earning about $40,000. The most we've ever earned is about 60. But on average, we earn closer to 40 or 45. So this year we're going back to the live event. Hopefully, we've already signed the contract, but we intend to still use kind of the email addresses, the online tools that we have to try to get people beyond the event to bid up our auction items and contribute a little bit more to the success of the venture. And having people with the ability, even though you lose 3%, to use their credit card to pay for the auction items, it kind of saves us from afterwards having a long line with people paying for their auction items on the way out. So we're really excited and looking forward to kind of combining the best of both worlds for this year's event.
Robert, are you asking how many members are in Kevin's club?
We have 43 active members.
So I know we're trying to wrap this up and bring things to a close, but a lot of fantastic things are accomplished by Rotarians, whether it is a fundraiser, a service project. You can really learn a lot from your peers and certainly steal those ideas, adapt those ideas, grow those ideas. I know for me, as far as obviously you can come to events like this and you can learn cool things about whether it's an upcoming bourbon tasting or a walk in the Cleveland Cultural Gardens from another club. You can learn this from each other. You can also, if you're on social media, you can follow other clubs' Facebook pages to get information. You can pay attention to the district newsletter. These are things, again, as club president, things to be mindful of. It can be overwhelming. There's a lot of information, but you can at least have a pulse of what's going on outside your club, and then you can also share your club's activities with others. So as we are looking to wrap up tonight, because you'll have another session next week for the multi-district All Ohio, which will focus on membership, so please register. Any questions for David, myself, or others that are on this Zoom?
So I'd like to encourage those of you that shared tonight on some of your fundraisers, when we do the foundation, I do want to do a part of that session on what you've done for your fundraisers and your foundation. So I'll send out an email about that, but we will give you time to talk more about that in our next session in November. And if you want to write that down and send it to me, then I can compile them and make sure that everybody gets it so that it's in one location rather than just in chat. So no questions this evening? Well, the hour went by pretty quickly. I want to thank everybody for being on our session today. Hopefully we'll see you next week. And we'll, like I said, we're trying to keep them short, sweet, and to the point. If you have any questions that you did not ask at this time and they come up, please email Ryan or myself, and we'd be happy to get back with you on that.
And our email addresses will be in the PowerPoint I'm going to send out here in like the next 5 minutes. So.
And Ryan, will that also include a list of all the PEs in the district? So if we wanted to talk among ourselves, we would have contact information, or should we just use the district website for that?
Great question. I don't even have that list myself yet. So I know I need to download that.
Okay.
I need to record attendance throughout the year, but probably I can do the whole, who the email goes to. I can do that, but we will certainly work to get that out to you, though.
Okay.
So you know who's in your class. Certainly we can do that.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
I want to thank Jackie Minotis and Julie Brohard and Larry Lohman, Peter Tuttle for being on tonight, Shale for being on tonight. I know they are in a lot of other meetings, but they took some of their time to be with us, and I truly appreciate that. And hopefully if you have questions, you will get to know who they are and ask them, and get a hold of your AGs. If you haven't done that yet, at least just introduce yourself and what club you're from so that they can start getting you information if they don't know who you are. Okay, well, thank you for being with us this evening. Hopefully, if you have other things you want us to discuss, send us an email and we can definitely do those in these quick sessions. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Good
Thanks.
night, everybody.